Good morning, and welcome to Coffee with the Garden Club. So it's 1712, and a French spy and botanist named Amédée François Fraisier is visiting Chile. He is there under the auspices of scientific and botanical interest, but what he is really doing is studying Spanish fortifications. However, while he is there, he takes a look through the marketplace and notices that the strawberries they have are much larger than those that are currently available in France. Now, he knows that King Louis XIV is a big fan of strawberries, and so he quietly sneaks some of these strawberries into his baggage and takes them back home. These strawberry plants are the beginnings of the garden strawberry. They would be crossed with the strawberries that they were currently using in France and eventually produce a much larger strawberry that we're familiar with today. So the garden strawberry started with intrigue and espionage. She's going to join us today. This is Macy. So today we're going to talk about Alpine strawberries. Alpine strawberry is really a blanket term that we use for wild strawberries, and they are typically under a ½ inch in length. They look like miniature garden strawberries. They're sweeter, and I used to plant them with a group of students, and they thought they tasted like Pez. So anyway, they're delicious, but they're not as prolific as garden strawberries. There are two different sort of styles of growth that these strawberries, these Alpine strawberries have. Most of them grow in clumps. If you want them to spread, they'll spread slowly by themselves. They may drop seeds and spread that way, but you probably will want to split them. Then there is the running type that sends out runners, and you're familiar with runners because you probably have them on your strawberries at home, your standard garden strawberries, and that makes them a little bit opportunistic, sometimes very much so. They will spread over the course of several years. They're not difficult to control. You can just yank them out, but you may find yourself weeding a bit if you get the running type. And I'll tell you a couple of different types a little bit later on in this program here. So how do you start Alpine strawberries at home? You can buy some starts, but they're difficult to come by. It's much easier to find seeds. Unfortunately, the seeds are a little tricky to start, but they're not hard if you do them correctly. So anyway, the method that I use that has been very successful is you would start with a tray, a seed tray. I don't start them in separate cells, I start them in a flat. And I start them in a covered flat so that it retains the moisture and I don't have to worry about that, because this is a process that takes a while. I generally would put them in the fridge for a month or two before starting them. Sometimes they may benefit from a little bit of cold beforehand, just to activate them in case they do require cold stratification. I just do that as a precaution, and I'm not entirely sure that that's necessary with every type. After a month or so in the fridge, I take them and just spread them thinly on top of a layer of soil in a seed tray. and I might scatter a little bit of soil on top, but really I just plant them on the top. And I keep that damp. Keep a cover on it. Whenever it needs extra moisture, which is very rare because it's covered, I would spray it with a sprayer. That's about all I need to do when it's in that kind of situation. And you should start to see little sprouts after either several weeks, sometimes as long as a month, or 5 or 6 weeks. As time goes by, they'll grow into tiny little strawberry plants, which you can then kind of pinch out of the soil and plant in individual cells or pots, and then grow those out until it's time to put them into the soil. So you're going to want to start these fairly early in the season. I would say, if you haven't done so already, go buy some seeds, find some seeds online for alpine strawberries. You'll often find them under alpine strawberries, like I say, not strictly alpine in nature. So let's talk about a couple of types that I personally grow, so I have experience with. There are a number of different types of these, but for myself, I have had good luck with 3 different types. One is called a Yellow Wonder. Yellow Wonder strawberry, as you might imagine, is a yellow strawberry. Once again, not very large, only maybe about ½ inch. It looks like a miniature yellow strawberry. It grows on plants that look very much like strawberry plants, except just a little smaller. These are very tasty berries, mild but quite sweet. I really love them. You have to wait until they really are ready to drop off the plant, and at that point they are absolutely delicious. You will need to plant a lot of them to get enough for a really good meal, but I plant them on edges of a lot of my gardens, and these do pretty well. They seem to like edges. I find that they, in general, this is true of these strawberries, this type of strawberry, they tend to like to produce closer to edges. When I have a really thick patch of them, I find that more strawberries are growing on the edges than in the middle of the patch. So a second type that I grow is called the Attila. Now this strawberry is unique in or maybe not unique, but unusual in the alpine strawberry family, because it grows with runners. Now I described runners before, and so the Attila, I think they may have called it that because it's a bit of an invader. It will spread very well. So if you're looking for a ground cover, the Attila strawberry is an excellent selection. It will grow underneath the other plants that you've got. It does very well on like a wood mulch, and can just spread, fill in spaces, and give you a very productive way of using that space without draining the soil quite the same way that ordinary garden strawberries do. Ordinary garden strawberries are very heavy feeders. These alpine varieties are not. So the third variety that I grow is called the pine berry, and this I'm pretty sure is a hybrid, and I got the seeds for this online. There was a lot of hype around the pine berry, and there may still be. I like it. I don't find it superior to the other types of these strawberries that I grow, but I find it's very tasty. It seems to have the same kind of growing habit as the Yellow Wonder in that it grows in clumps. I haven't yet noticed it sending out runners, but it's kind of early in the game. Last year was my first year. I have tasted a few of them, and they were very tasty. And across the board, I think you find that alpine strawberries are absolutely delicious. So last year was the first year that I had enough, and I've been growing these for many years, and finally I have a little bit more space. Last year was the first year that I could go out and pick a full cup or more of these strawberries, which is a really nice experience to have because they are so delicious. But you would need a large area to, a lot of edges around your gardens to be able to harvest that many at any given time. Oh, the other thing to mention about these this variety of strawberries is they are generally, I don't know if this is true about all of the different varieties, but the varieties that I mentioned are ever-bearing. So they will bear straight from the spring through the fall. I do find that they tend to produce more earlier in the season, and then later in the season they will slow down significantly, especially in dry weather. So that is the Alpine or domesticated wild strawberry. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I hope you will hit the thumbs up button at the bottom. Give me a comment and any questions that you have and any insights that you have about growing these varieties of strawberries in your own yard. Finally, I would like to, if you're interested in seeing more Garden Club information, you can check me out on Instagram. That is at Food Forest Garden Club. And we have a website that we're building. It is foodforestgardenclub.org, and you'll soon be able to go there, sign up, support what we're doing, and become involved in some of the activities that we've got going on. So I look forward to seeing you there, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day.